One of the dirty secrets of making money on YouTube is a lot of people think it's about subscriber count, and it's really not. The amount of money you can make on YouTube is related to views to a certain extent, but even more so to your average watch time. It's easy to be seduced by those high view counts, but hey there, I am Paige Turner. I am an artist, entrepreneur, and weirdo. I've been making my living online for a long time now, about 7 years. Although I'm a relative newcomer to YouTube. I only started last year and now I have 2 channels. That's how much fun I'm having. Breaking into video was tough for me. It was not natural. I'm not one of those people that dreamed about making video. I'm a writer by trade. That's what I started out doing initially. But over time, especially after my husband and I hit the road to travel full-time in an RV and see the country, we both realized it would be a lot better if we had a way to document the experience, because it's really cool. We wanted to have at least some way to look back on our experience, and it made sense for me to document it in video, even just for us as a family. And while I was at it, and I already made my living online and I did social media and things all the time anyway, it was kind of a no-brainer to start a travel RV channel. But to be honest, the learning curve for me for video editing was really tough. It took a while for me to start posting videos. Well, at least long form videos anyway. I started posting shorts before, and primarily I posted them on Facebook. That's where we had our larger presence. YouTube took me a little longer because I wasn't as used to YouTube. I had used Facebook for other work, but not YouTube. And the video editing curve was very steep for me, and I was learning to travel. It was really hard to balance everything. So shorts were a lot easier for me to do. And I remember I posted reels on Facebook, and I got like 3,000 views or something on a video of our cat Ratface checking out the RV, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. I experimented with kind of a jokey channel I had before as video editing, doing some animated versions of tweets I'd done that were funny on a different channel here. It's another one, and I noticed that I could get, a lot of views on that as well. These really short 10-second shorts that were basically just animated tweets that I'd used a tool to make. And then when I got our moving castle, the long form videos, once I got my act together, I started posting those, started getting some views. It was a little confusing at first because I actually did pretty well. I got a few hundred views on my first video or two on our moving castle, and it was pretty exciting. But at the same time, it took them longer to come in. I had to promote it more with some of my other social media I had at the time. It wasn't like the 3,000 views I got on Facebook Reels for this one little clip of our cat. And I was like, dang it, boy, I'm really bad at this. Short form is so easy, and I'm getting so many more views, and I'm working so much harder. Like, it was so much harder to make that long form video than the short, and I got 10 times as many views. It wasn't until I really dug into the analytics that I sort of understood what was happening. So I'd like to talk about that a little today, and some reasons why I have since realized that I like long form a lot better, and why I'm glad that I didn't just keep on making shorts. It was an inflection point, and I went to long form, and I'm really glad I did. So there's a practical side to all of this, and I saw it a little bit in my stats, and I've also seen it in the stats of other people. It is absolutely possible to spread yourself too thin on YouTube. Some people have a good combo strategy where they're able to get short video viewers, and then they get them into their channel and they watch their channel, and that is wonderful. But that is not the case for most people who make shorts. The shorts audience and the long form audience tend to be a lot more discreet. There's a little overlap, but often a lot of the shorts viewers like to watch shorts, and a lot of the long form viewers like to watch long form, which makes sense. I personally tend to watch long form videos. If I'm watching a short, it's because it was served to me somehow in some other social media, or a friend is like, hey Paige, you need to watch this. I tend to really like long form, and that tends to be my weapon of choice. But I have friends that literally all they watch are shorts, and they're always like, I don't know how you watch long form all the time. And we just tend to be different preferences, and I do find that there's some people in between. My husband kind of dabbles in both, but for the most part, what people have found is if they have a lot of shorts viewers, when their long form content gets presented to them, it doesn't do as well as it would among the audience that prefers long form. So one of the ways that YouTube decides whether it's going to push it out to more people is it tests it on a group of your established fans, people who've watched you in the past. So if you have a bunch of shorts viewers who are like, I don't know what this long form, they're not excited to click on it and watch it, it could actually hurt you, because then it won't push it out to a larger group of people. Where if you had a devoted group of people who were really into long form content, then they would be more likely to click on that, and then it would be more likely to get pushed out to more people. So it's possible to spread yourself too thin if you don't get the right audience. So that's the first reason. It's pretty practical. And if I had to pick one or the other, shorts versus long form, I would pick long form because the ad rates are a lot better. It's just more lucrative as a creator. Even though the content is harder to make, the AdSense revenue is night and day. It actually reminds me a lot of Twitter versus Facebook. So I've done a lot of both. I actually was rather successful making quite a bit of money on the Meta bonus program, which I could do a video on later if you're interested on how I made money on Facebook. I made a lot of money on Facebook back in the day, and I continue to make money on Facebook. But even something simple like trying to sell products on Facebook, which I've done, I've also tried to sell products on Twitter. People don't like to spend money on Twitter. They are not buying things nearly as often as they are buying things from Facebook or even something like Instagram. So the advertising rates for those platforms are completely different. It's really cheap if you want to buy ad space on Twitter. Probably is today, now that it's been rebranded as X, and I hear a lot of advertisers have left, but even back in its heyday, even back when it was doing better with advertising, it just was not commanding the rates. Facebook is much more expensive to advertise, and part of that is because it actually converts to sales. The sales conversions were really bad on Twitter. So short and long form are the same way. Like, people aren't necessarily buying things when they're watching shorts, or at least they buy things at a lesser rate. So it's part of the equation. It's more lucrative. And the second reason I'm glad that I stopped making shorts is that I looked into what those 3,000 views were honestly getting me. So one of the dirty secrets of making money on YouTube is a lot of people think it's about subscriber count. And it's really not. The amount of money you can make on YouTube is related to views to a certain extent, but even more so to your average watch time. So views are important because when you make money on AdSense, YouTube plays ads at the beginning of your video, and you are paid based on how many ads people watch and how long they watch them and whether they click, and there's a whole bunch of different variables, and the rates go up and down depending on how valuable the ad space is and all that stuff. But you get paid because people watch your video, and then if you have a long average view duration, so people are watching your entire video, maybe you have longer videos, more ads can be shown and you can make more money. So in addition to views, watch time is extremely important. And I think part of why shorts don't pay well, and part of why the view count can be really deceptive when you're thinking about how much engagement you're getting, is that if somebody is watching a 10-second reel 3,000 times, let's do some math here. Let's say somebody's watched your reel or your short 3,000 times. And let's say, just for easy math, they watch it for an average of 10 seconds. So that's 3,000 times 10, that's 30,000 seconds divided by 60. That's 500 minutes. And when you divide 500 minutes by 60, that's 8.3 hours. Is that right? Yeah, that's 8.3 hours. Now, let's say you got 300 views and people watch your video for an average of 4 minutes. I was averaging 4 minutes at the time this happened. So 300 views times 240 is 72,000. Let's divide that by 60 to get minutes, and then divide by 60. That's 20 hours. So the 3,000 views on a short was 8.3 hours of watch time. And then, even though it sounds like 10 times as many views as the long form video that got 300 views, that got 20 hours of watch time. That's over twice as much watch time, even though it sounds like 10 times less. That's a ton more time people are watching. They're much more engaged. And frankly, if you're thinking about something like advertiser space, it's a world of difference. It's a ton more engagement. No wonder long form makes a lot more money. It's easy to be seduced by those high view counts, but it's a big difference. And I think when I saw that, and I saw that, oh my gosh, you know, these minutes, these watch hours, it's night and day, that was a big turning point for me. And finally, the third reason why I am glad I stopped making YouTube shorts is because I actually bothered to learn video editing and the long form skills and all of this. And I think that if I had just stuck with doing the quick, vertical video on my phone, I would have just gotten used to that. I would have gotten the instant gratification and seen the big flashy view numbers, and it would have been harder to get to monetization. For one, like, the monetization goals are different and they're much harder on the shorts. And also the income that you make is not as good. And frankly, I would have felt limited if I didn't know how to do all of it. So I think it would have been easy if I'd been making shorts and getting that instant gratification to keep doing it and never learn how to make long form, which, I know some people don't like it and it's not as cool. It's not the cool trending thing, but I like the pace, I like the vibe, I like knowing how to do both. And so I'm glad that I stopped making YouTube shorts and I pushed through the frustration and the delayed gratification of the long form, because I think it'll ultimately be worth it. Not to say that I won't make some more shorts, I will, and I do, and I tend to post them not on YouTube, but on other platforms like Facebook, because I do bring in different audience, and my goals on Facebook are different than they are here on YouTube. I think that's the key to any sort of strategy, to figuring out what kind of format you want to use. Whether you want to go short form, long form, or a mix of both, you need to understand your goals and work out a plan. And that's my plan, and that's what I've done, and it's been great. Anyway, it's been great talking to you as always. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.